Hello one and all, this is Soulful Lordy, James Bullock, once again with another video game first impressions. This time around, Mortal Kombat 11, the beta, online stress test, for the PS4 and Xbox One. Shout out to the Queen Bee herself for hooking up Soulful Lordy, a beta code that allowed me to take part in the stress test, the online stress test featuring one being Scorpion, of course, the other being Baraka, and the other being Scarlet. Now, with these three characters, you are allowed to play only online. Though, we do get a very good glimpse of a lot of the options through the menu that we will be able to take part in once the full game is released, including story mode, the towers mode, and the various customization options, very similar to what we saw in Injustice 2. The first thing you notice when you start playing Mortal Kombat 11 is the fact that it is a lot slower than Mortal Kombat X. Without the run button, without this kind of extended forward dash or even back dash, the game automatically feels a lot slower and a lot more strategically based than the previous Mortal Kombat games. It's not even a rush in to try to throw the first combo. It's usually people blocking and trying to figure out what their opponent's going to do first to retaliate. And that's one thing that has really never been that big of a deal, which has always been kind of that active rush to land the first strike. But with this one, it's the active rush to figure out what the opponent's going to do first, and then countering that and hopefully setting up combos and special attacks that will keep the momentum in your favor. And that's one of the biggest things I enjoyed about Mortal Kombat 11 thus far, is the feel of momentum swings. It's so easy to get into a pattern and either drop a combo, because combos in this game, even though they are very profound, especially if you are fighting someone that really knows how to string those combos together, it also feels rewarding when you're able to figure out how to block at the right time, how to move away at the right distance, and retaliate and turn the momentum in your favor. The bars that are at the bottom corner of the screen allow for tech rolls, which is something that I was very rarely able to pull off, but I was able to pull off a lot of amplified attacks, which is this game's version of EX attacks, or extra powerful versions of the special attacks. For me personally, Baraka became my go-to fighter during the stress test. And Scarlet was somewhat fun to play with. She was interesting. It was just a little bit difficult to get into her and understanding how to time her projectiles properly. She has a very long startup time when it comes to projectiles, and some of them move very slowly. Scorpion is a pretty much overall general type of fighter that can get in, get out, and work from any distance, whereas Baraka is very good up close. Though one of his styles, which is my favorite one, which was the bone deep style, allows for you to do a lunging attack that gets him into a mount position that allows him to stab the opponent. I appreciate the bars on this one compared to, say, the EX meter, simply because they regenerate as the fight goes on. In the previous game, it was something that you had to build up by either landing attacks or taking attacks, whereas this is more about timing and pacing and not trying to spend all of your extra meter before your opponent is vulnerable for such an attack. Fatal Blow replaces the X-Ray, and one thing that I thoroughly enjoyed about the X-Rays were just how absurd they were, and it's still very absurd. Scarlet, Scorpion, and Baraka have some very absurd X-Rays. Big differences this time around though. They are not armored. You cannot just utilize a Fatal Blow attack and just go to an opponent, whatever the opponent is trying to do, and hit that Fatal Blow. This time you have to time it properly. If a person hits you as you're in the middle of executing a Fatal Blow, it's over. You will not be able to do it. You have to wait for the Fatal Blow to recharge. And more than likely, if that happens, you will not be able to hit the Fatal Blow at all, because unlike the X-Rays, Fatal Blows can only be activated when you only have 25% health left. There's a good chance that a Fatal Blow could turn the tide in your favor, or it could leave you wide open for a round-ending attack. There are also these crushing blow attacks, which are these perfectly timed reactionary counterattacks that, say if you hit someone with an uppercut right after they missed a punch, it will give you this X-ray of them losing a bunch of teeth and having their jaw cracked. Or if you kick someone in the chest at the proper time in retaliation of them trying to throw a strike, you'll crush their sternum. Like, it's just so graphic, so great, so Mortal Kombat. Brutalities are back. I pulled off a bevy of brutalities with Baraka. Fatalities work very well. They have a pretty big window for you to try to do the fatalities. From an online standpoint, I rarely had any issues, though there were a few laggy moments, like lag spikes. Very similar to Injustice 2, you are able to see the connection quality of any fighter that you're about to take on. I only had, I believe, 2 rage quits and no quitalities thus far. It might be something that is available in the full version when that comes out. But overall, the online experience was definitely rewarding. There are some issues though, and hopefully this will be something that is fixed in the full game. One of the things that I noticed was at times the hitboxes were not functioning properly. There was one moment, if I remember correctly, I threw a scorpion spear and Scarlet was standing upright and it just went right through her. There was no blocking, nothing, just went right through her. It was a couple of times where I was throwing attacks and it wasn't hitting anybody. It was really weird. It was rare, but it was weird. And there were also times where people would jump kick me and I'm underneath them. They're overhead and their feet are nowhere near my character. Like, they're facing behind my character and still it connects. So there are some minor issues with the hitbox detection that, of course, I believe will be fixed and cleared out when the final game does arrive. Overall, I was excited about Mortal Kombat 11. This made a great first impression. This made me excited about the full game. I'm walking away from this beta feeling very good about the overall product, and that's just playing the online version. I hope that everyone that pre-orders the game jumps into the beta when the beta drops at the end of the month, and we can all just get ready and get excited for what is going to be inevitably, to me personally, the best fighting game of 2019. So there you have it. This has been so lordy. James Bullock, once again, with another video game first impressions. Mortal Kombat 11, the beta, online stress test for the PS4 and Xbox One. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go and watch some videos of my impressive victories, my crushing defeats, and even my crushing blows, as I remember the looks, the sounds, the screams of every opponent as they had no choice but to shout, "Oh lordy!"